Well, Mike, first of all, are there any players you didn't have on Tuesday that will be available this weekend? Anyone back from injuries or whatever?
Possibly, but we'll make a late decision. Not the, not David or Kyle or Ryan. They're out, but there might be one or two of the others.
But after a 1-0 win on the road, have you got many decisions to make?
Yeah, listen, we've always got to be mindful of. It was a long journey. A lot of games have been played. We've got another long journey. Look, we've got a very tough schedule coming up now. Bradford away. We've got a long trip now today, and we've got two tough home games: Colchester and Harrogate, and then we got Carlisle away. It's it's non-stop. It's a real tough set of fixtures, and we want to try and get through to the end of November in a healthy position.
How much does that take its toll, the travel?
It does. Look, it's tough. You have long journeys, get stuck in traffic, but we've done all right so far. We've already had a few long journeys. We've been Scunthorpe, Bolton, Cambridge, Stevenage now. So at least there's 4 ticked off, and we're on the countdown. We got 19 to go.
Yeah, Carlisle's the worst one, I guess. Is it the longest?
Well, it's Carlisle or Barrow is neither here or there. Those two, in terms of distance and travel time. It's like I said, it's a tough period, but that's why we've got a slightly bigger squad, because of the way the fixtures work this season with the condensed season. We knew it was going to be a lot of games in a short period of time, so we've had to prepare for that.
How mentally demanding is that on the players, and have you seen are any of them struggling at the moment with the pressure of turning up, not playing in front of fans, and is it becoming difficult?
No, they're hitting their head on. To be fair to them, they've been good as gold. What does get demanding is the toll on the body. When you go in all around the country, near enough every week now, it is tough. But look, there's thousands of players, kids around the country who'd love to be in their position, and they know that they're privileged.
And as the other Rob said, I mean, a 1-0 away win on the road is right up there for a manager, isn't it? You go away with the 3 points, probably thinking you could perform a little bit better, room for improvement, but it ticks every box.
It's a fantastic win, clean sheet. I've seen a few things that we're now moaning that we're only winning by 1 goal. It's beggars belief. You can't win. Literally, you cannot. You can't keep everybody happy. There's always somebody out there. Nobody has taken Stevenage apart. They're a strong unit. They went to Bradford, took the lead, lost 2-1. Lost to Forest Green 1-0. They're fighting. They got some good players as well. So, and some experienced players. It's not an easy place to go, and I think it's our first time we've won that since back in the league.
You get a feel sometimes about this time of the season, how the squad's developing, and the window's shut. You know what you've got now to work with. How are you looking at your squad, and how are you feeling about the way the progression's going?
Well, I think it's progressed really well. I was looking at yesterday's training session where the boys who didn't play done a session, and the quality of that session was probably the best I've had from a non-starting team since I've been here. And then you start realising why. You've got the likes of Scott Bennett, Kevin Ellison, Robbie Wilmot, those kind of players, Jamie Proctor, Podrick Amond. Those players fighting to get in the team, and the standard, was up there. It was really, really high standard, and that was so pleasing for me, because it shows that they're all pulling in the right direction and working as hard as they can to get into the starting 11.
So at your age now, you can't join in training, can you?
No, I don't join in training. Only if they're desperately short. And it needs to be desperately.
You've got a good squad then. Thanks, fella.
Yeah, you talk about, people are now saying, well, you're only winning 1-0. Are you getting full value for your attacking play? Let me put it that way.
No, I still think we should score more goals, Rob. I've been critical of that. But what we are doing now is creating a lot more. It's chalk and cheese compared to last season. I think Scott Twine on his own has had over 40 shots, and he hasn't even played every game. He's not played in the leasing.com, etc. That's a good sign. It's a good sign that you're getting in positions to have some shots. And like I said, there's games where we could have scored a hatful. We didn't, but we've won the game. And whether we win 1-0 like we did against Stevenage, or when we beat Cambridge 1-0 in the Cup, okay, two different performances, but two different occasions. And the pleasing thing was we won them both 1-0.
And clean sheets mean a lot. And I've got to say that looking at it, the likes of Brandon Cooper, he's just coming into league football now. How would you assess how he has taken to it, and what contribution has he made to those clean sheets?
Well, look, he's been superb. He's settled in really well. He's a hard-working young lad. He's got a bright future ahead of him, and hopefully that he's got something to go back to Swansea with at the end of the season after a successful time with us.
And he's got experience alongside him. Is that key as well, do you think?
Yeah, listen, those three have been rock solid, to be fair. And I'll go as far as to say is if Brandon was playing then at Cambridge, we wouldn't have lost the game.
That highly?
Yeah. They're settled. They've got a settled unit at the minute. And look, Scott Bennett come in and he done as well as he could, but it's hard because he's never really played on the right side of a three. Scott is much better in the middle of a three, and it's just that little change here and there can affect certain things. And but listen, like I said, towards the end of that game, we kept going and going and looked like scoring, the last. But you see them there. They ain't doing too bad, Cambridge, are they?
No, quite. You're going back to your old stamping ground, Bradford, another one of your former clubs, and I think a club you think really highly of as well, don't you?
Yeah.
In your time there.
Yeah, I do. It's a fantastic club. A big club, big support. It'll be strange tomorrow without the fans there. It would have been nice to see the supporters there because the atmosphere is second to none. But look, it is what it is, and you never know, it might work in our favour.
Was Stuart McCall the manager when you were there, or was he?
Yeah, Stuart signed me. Yeah, Stuart signed me. He's somebody I still keep in contact with. Stuart, always have. He's an absolute gentleman, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Yeah.
And you'll be going up because of the regulations. You have to travel up in 2 buses now rather than 1. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what we did at Stevenage. So yeah.
What's all that about then, Matt? Is that the staff and the players not being socially distanced for the trip? Is it?
Yeah, it's just about covering every. Look, we don't want an outbreak of any COVID, and it's just trying to do as much as we can to nullify that. If somebody comes down with the symptoms, then at least we know nobody is being too close to them. And then, we got to go off the results then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It really is odd, isn't it, to see, I noticed at another game, 2 buses rolling in. It's not something that you'd ever would have thought about before, is it?
Well, when our bus turned up, I thought we was going on a stag weekend, if I'm honest. It was the Beano bus. we wanted the boys are watching the Sky on the way home on theirs, and we had bingo on our TV.
But nevertheless, a tough ask up there, because they're the draw specialists in the division at the moment, aren't they? Do you fancy that they'll be up and around there at the end? Yeah,
they will. They've got a strong squad. Listen, it's going to be a very, very tight division this year, and that's why I've said it before. I'll never get carried away. We've had a very good start, but we have got a very, very tough 6 weeks ahead of us because of the travel, the amount of games all crammed in, and look, we've got to come through the next 6 weeks healthy.
Yeah, it's not going to sort of define your season, but it could shape the rest of the season, couldn't it, the next 6 weeks?
Yeah, listen, like I said, it's a lot of games. It's you've got the FA Cup then sandwiched in between that. We'll find out Monday. So it's hopefully we want a home draw to limit the travelling. But it is what it is. We just gotta get on with it, heads down, and play through.
And just finally on the COVID thing, Mike, you've had the two. You talked about the two buses. I noticed Accrington had a big outbreak in the week. As far as you're concerned, the club's doing absolutely everything it can. I mean, somebody still might go down with it because it's so virulent, isn't it? But as far as you're concerned, the club is doing absolutely, it couldn't do much more than it's doing.
No, they are doing everything. Like I said, Tom, the physio, and Dan, the doc, they've been, if anything, too anal about it. Look, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done, and as much as it gets on my nerves, and it can be a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? Tedious. It can be a little bit tedious. We've got to do what they say because they're the professionals and we trust them. And to be fair to them, looking at the results so far, who am I to argue with them?
Absolutely. Best of luck tomorrow. Safe trip.
Cheers, Rob.
Mike, obviously you alluded to after Stevenage, but about maybe having a tinker and things like that. And I guess part of that's that you don't want to maybe be over-reliant on people who are doing really well. So, for example, Liam Shepherd, Haynes down the left. You need to be able to cover for if they do break down, I guess. That's part of it. Yeah, we do.
But listen, we've brought players in who can cover those positions or play those positions. And look, if it happens that I rest one or two of them pick up an injury, then the others are going to make sure they're ready to step in. It's as simple as that. Because if they're not, they get found out.
And they won't get. And I guess they then won't be in the position to be rotated because you won't. Well, they won't have earned the right to be rotated, I guess.
And look, we've got like I said, we've got a 6-week period ahead of us, which is going to be very tough. And we just got to find the right time of when we bring 2 or 3 out and put the others in, and hopefully, they come in fresh, full of energy, and just keep us going.
You mentioned that the style is chalk and cheese to last season, and I guess that in itself brings challenges, doesn't it? Because it's no longer catching anyone cold. They all will have done their research and watched the vids and that style of thing.
Exactly, and it's fine. Good luck to them. We do our research on them. But I know if our boys are on it, they're going to be very tough to stop.
That's it, isn't it? You mentioned Scott timing his shots. It's one thing knowing he's going to do it, but trying to stop him working the yard or whatever. He's really cunning, isn't he? Whenever he gets.
Yeah, listen, he's settled in really well. Don't forget, then we've got Jamie Devitt to come in there, who is proven at this level. So yeah, we've got some options. We've got Jamie Proctor, Kevin Ellis, and Podge, who can all play up front. Then you've got the midfielders. You've got Robbie. You've got Benno. If we had to, we could put Matty Dolan in there. You've got Ash Baker, who can play on the right. Robbie can play on the right. You've got Aaron Lewis, who can go on the left. Brad, who can play. We've got cover. Tom King, if needed, is there. So it's looking a lot
was going to say, the 3 loan signings, a week of training under their belt with you and know what's what. So I presume they're in a better position now to.
Yeah, I listen. You know, it's good. We'll be able to get some training in their legs, have more of a look, so to speak. And you know, it's about finding that right time there when to freshen up and when not to.